Dover Motor Speedway used to be a horse racing track back in the day, but tonight we're going to let some different horses run tonight in the third race for the chase for the Great Lakes Truck Series Championship. Good evening, everyone. I'm Hunter Brittle, alongside my good friend Elliot Henderson, ready to bring you all the action live on Split Second Broadcasting. While we're once again racing on a concrete surface, this track is a lot more physical and demanding than last week's race at Nashville, Elliot. How will these drivers handle this blazing fast one-miler?
Well, I've already got guys starting up towards the front that we kind of expected, but the big thing is going to be coming off the corners here. The way this track works, you kind of sink down in there, and it's kind of a fishbowl down there. You are flying in the middle of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. They're both very high banked. They have a lot of load on the outside of the corner, so you're going to be, keeping up a lot of momentum. There's not a lot of brake. So you're in the gas pretty often, but coming off the corner and going into the corner, there's like a big bump, especially out of 4, kind of out of 2 as well, where the truck kind of unsettles, especially on cold tires and everything. So the big thing is making sure you don't get too loose at the start, but as the run goes on and the tires start to come up and the truck starts to tighten up, you're going to want to make sure that you're not hitting that wall off the corner as well. So a little bit of a double factor there, and we'll have to see how these guys handle that, as they do every weekend, it seems, with these tracks. So gonna have to see how that works out.
Definitely one to play. Lots of strategy, lots of tire saving going on in this one. One guy who definitely really likes this track is Zach Henry, last week's winner at Nashville. He's looking to double down this week in Dover. He is going to be starting on pole this week in that number 1 spot. Already reclaimed it over top of Shane Neiswanger and the rest of the field here. So Zach Henry already making a big push for going back to back here. Another driver that we haven't necessarily talked about a whole lot this season, making a great start tonight. Brent Kingcott is going to roll off 4th tonight. It's surprising and great to see him doing well again. We'll hope that he can stay up there all night long. Good to see Brent starting up towards the front. Hopefully he can stay there.
Also really interested to see how Ashton Lawson does here tonight. He's going to be rolling off from that 3rd position. So we've seen a lot of speed from him recently, but he is one of the oddballs coming out of Nashville last week, where he had another somewhat solid run, but it didn't turn into exactly what he wanted. He's 8th in the points, but he still has an outside chance to make this work. 28 points out. He's really just got to cut down that gap. He's only technically 15 points behind Zach Henry, so if he can keep cutting that gap down to him, the other guys will just kind of come as the races wind down. But he's an outside factor, starting 3rd tonight. Going to be interesting to see what he does alongside Shane Neiswanger, who comes in literally 4 points behind him back in 9th.
The points battle really starting to take shape here. You've got your favorites up front: Nathan Jump, Jared Darling, Jackson Sims. As you see, we've got it on your screen right here. Look at that tight battle there for the 3rd spot there. 4 points separating 3 drivers: Jackson Sims, Zach Henry, and Spencer Owens. They're all in the top 5. Mike McConville still hanging around after that awesome week. First win there in the first race of the chase. Eric Kepf closely follows behind. And then Ashton Lawson, Shane Neiswanger, Nick Caressel rounding them out. That's the way that the points sit. But tonight it's all about Dover. And Elliot, who do we think's got this one tonight as the field starts to roll around this concrete coliseum?
I mean, it's pretty obvious that you're going to have to pick probably Zach Henry or Nathan Jump, but if you want a dark horse pick in here, Shane Neiswanger has been really good at this track recently, and he's been consistently getting a little bit better every week. It seems like he keeps getting caught up in someone else's stuff, but tonight he finally has a really good starting spot right there in 2nd on the outside, and honestly, he can go into turn 1 and potentially pinch Zach down and gain the lead off the corner with how this track works. Zach is going to pick the bottom here, so I'd say you want to watch Shane, but another one to keep your eye on starting all the way back in 16th, Jared Darling came in here 2nd in points, and he is starting the worst of the chase guys, with the exception of Nick Caressel, who's starting right behind him in 17th. Jared Darling's got a lot of work to do tonight starting back there.
Absolutely, and let's go ahead and try and talk to Jared Darling and get his thoughts on the race going into this. Jared Darling, it's Brittle and the boys up in the booth. Got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, man, this one's a little bit different than last week at Nashville. How are we feeling going into Dover here this week?
Oh, well, right now I'm pretty upset because I'm way back here. I barely clipped the wall in qualifying, so I didn't count my second lap. So that was very unfortunate because Track position is going to be key, so I don't have it. But luckily, it's a long race, so hopefully I can work my way up there. But not too thrilled right now. So we'll see how this goes.
I can't blame you. You're definitely back there in the snake pit here. Hopefully, looking to move yourself forward. You've got a couple teammates there. I see Gavin Fitzgerald in front of you, and I see Eric Kepf there, a little caddy corner behind you there. How is the teammate game going to work here as you guys sort this running position out at the start of this event?
Yeah, I think we just want to take it easy here these first couple laps, get everybody sorted out, because I know this track's kind of known to having like some big wrecks. There's nowhere to go really, so hopefully everybody kind of just give each other some space and just get single filed out and then get racing, you know. So kind of gonna take it easy here these first couple laps and hopefully start picking them off one by one.
Absolutely, you are right about that. This is a narrow racetrack, something we're going to be talking about all night long here. Jared, we'll let you get back to your team, but thank you so much for talking to us, and good luck tonight, man. We'll be rooting for you.
All right, hope you all enjoy the show. Thank you.
That was Jared Darling is going to roll off in the, I believe that's the 14th position there, way out, way back in the middle of the pack there, what we affectionately refer to as the snake pit here.
Yeah, I did mention how many times there's massive wrecks here. It's mainly because when these restarts happen, someone will check up and then there's really nowhere to go. And the way that these trucks slide, with the fact that the banking's not flat really anywhere, there's a little bit of debris on the back stretch and the front stretch, so cars or trucks will somewhat slide around during those wrecks, slide down the track or up, depending on trajectory. But not a lot of places to go when they do start stacking up, and it'll lead to basically track blockers. And we may see one tonight, but we're going to get ready to go green here as Pace Truck pulls off for 200 laps at Dover.
Pace Truck dives on the pit road here. We're ready to go racing here in Dover, Delaware. Zach Henry is going to lead the field around into the Geico restart zone here. The green flag is out. He gets a little slow of a jump there. Shane Neiswanger is going to be right on his outside there as they head off into one with Ashton Lawson hot on his heels there. A little bit of gap back to the 5 truck of Brent Kingcott there on the outside. It's going to let the top 4 there of Henry, and then Neiswanger, Ashton Lawson, and Nathan Jump going to scamper away there as Neiswanger and Ashton Lawson battle there for second.
Yeah, Shane kind of did what I thought he would do. He got a really good start there, especially with the fact that we do have the restart zone here, but unfortunately not able to maintain next to Zach Henry, who was able to just pile it down in there and hold it open in the middle of 1 and 2, and he's going to try to work his way and stay ahead of Ashton Lawson as they battle for second. Now 3 wide back in pack. Eric Kep, I believe that's Alex Fetter, and Michael Sensi all around that 15th position there.
Boy, 3 wide heading into any turn at Dover is going to get hairy there, and it almost did. Alex Fetter wisely backs out of the position, gives it to Michael Sensi here as he and Eric Kep start to do battle here. Elliot, we see Eric working that high side there, and we saw Shane get that pass on Ashton Lawson for second. How is this top side going to affect the tires versus that bottom lane there, which is the shorter way around the racetrack?
The top is going to absolutely destroy your tires after a while. It is not worth being up there whatsoever. Not at the beginning of the run, not at the end of the run. So, this is very much a one-lane track. They may make the outside work later. It just depends on how your driving style works. It's more of a, we've seen Chase Elliott do it in real life at Martinsville or even here at Dover, where you kind of diamond the corner. You'll go in real hard. You'll let the truck kind of wash up, and then you'll cut off real hard and get a nice run down the straightaway. So you might see guys do that a little bit later on, but right now, anywhere on that top lane is just not really worth it on those tires.
Top lane's good for speed, bad for tires here early on in this one. 5 laps down in Dover. Zach Henry shows the way, but farther back in the pack, we saw teammates there in the 99 of, who is that? I believe that's Nick Hansen, and the 51 of Trent Curtis there swapping positions. Now Nick Hansen's going to fall into the clutches of Gavin Fitzgerald, and Jared Darling, who we just talked to in the pre-race show. He is hot on his heels there as Nick gets a little loose going down the back there. Looking to the inside of Gavin. Not going to happen this time here as they come up off of 4.
McConville just gifts TCB the 9th position, I believe that was, as they worked that out. So top 10 is all kind of scattered out pretty evenly. They're all nice and relaxed. No one's really pressuring anybody. There is a bit of a battle still going on right around Brent Kingcott and Jackson Sims there as they try to track down Nathan Jump for that 4th position, though.
two KFM drivers there, teammates, the 6 and the 5 of Brent Kingcott there, trying to track down your current points leader, Nathan Jump, in this one, with Matt Durr hot on his heels there, as these two KFM drivers try and work together here. Elliot, we see everybody's kind of single filed out on this one. Are we going to see a whole lot of racing all night long, or is it really just going to be a matter of just waiting for whose tires are going to fall off first?
That's going to be the question. It's going to come down to tires pretty quickly here. You can see they're all single filed out, and it's mainly because trying to run that top is just going to make the truck tighter and tighter throughout the run. So what's going to happen here is 10, 15 laps in, we're going to start to see some guys' tires wear out a little bit quicker than others, and that's when the passing is really going to start to happen, I would imagine. Or you've got guys back here. I believe Michael Sensi's been saving a lot. He's kind of backed up his pace, and he's just kind of relaxing. So you can see that group back there settling right behind him. But we'll have to see how this all works out with the tires, because right now, as you say, yeah, if you start running the top, you're just going to see them get tight and hit the wall. So some guys saving, some guys going.
Well, they didn't get the memo back in the pack here. Austin Moore and Alex Fetter are absolutely dueling for that 16th and 17th position there, as the field's kind of cycled out into a couple groups here. You've got the top 3 have kind of broken away, and then it's a little small gap back to the next 4 or 5 guys. Then there's some more trickles. Then there's a big pack of 6 or 7 cars there, and then the rest of the field follows behind here, as it looks like everyone's starting to get stacked up behind the 37 of Michael Sensi there, coming off of 4. So Sensi early on struggling there under fire from the 23 with Spencer Owens as they dive down into 1.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's struggling or if that's saving, because he started 18th. He's already gained 2 spots up to 16th, and now he's just kind of settled out. But he's got 2 very hungry Spencer Owens and Austin Moore drivers behind him. They both did not qualify. You got to wonder if Spencer Owens would qualify, how well he'd actually run in these things. But these guys didn't qualify. Now they're already right there, right behind Sensi, trying to get up towards that top 15. So you got to wonder if Spencer's just biding his time behind Sensi, and Sensi just biding his time himself, because tires will matter. Again, these runs are pretty long too. We've got a 200-lap race. It's a 200-mile race, and the runs are going to be anywhere from about 45 to 48 laps is what I'm hearing as far as fuel goes. So you're going to have to make your tires last, and this is the one track on iRacing where we see blowouts more than anywhere else. So these guys are going to have to be real careful about how they drive and how aggressive they are on that right front tire.
A couple of dark horse drivers here, Adam Zorn and Louis Woodall, as it gets a little hairy off of 2 there. Rod Fosnaugh looks to the inside of Louis Woodall, thinks better of it there, as Adam Zorn is stuck on that high side, not able to get that faster lane hooked up. Maybe his tire's already dying off here. As you said, those runs are roughly 40 laps long, and we're already 15 into this event. Tires could be already could be coming into effect here, as he slips back into the clutches of Robin Durr there, another dark horse driver on his inside there. So Adam Zorn going backwards in this one early.
Yeah, otherwise there hasn't been a lot of movement up towards the front. A lot of that movement's happened around the 10th to 15th positions. We've got Nick Hansen's kind of fallen a little bit off. He's went from 9th to 14th. Jared Darling's moved from that 16th starting spot up to 13th now, but still can't get around Gavin Fitzgerald or Trent Curtis just ahead of him. And then obviously you've still got this group with Michael Sensi and others. I think everyone's just kind of biding their time at this point, like we just said. I don't think anyone's really pressuring too hard. You can see Spencer's already fallen off of Sensi. Now Jared's up here trying to attack Gavin, but it looks like these guys realize they're about closing in on halfway through this run and still have a long way to go before these tires really make their move.
18 laps down, a ton more to go here, as we will go to a short break, and then we will be right back here in Dover.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere. And just growing up the way I grew up and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha 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 ha.
See, Smokey thinks I'm funny.
Welcome back to the Dover Motor Speedway, where Zach Henry has started to check out on the field. His gap back to second place Ashton Lawson now is 1.2 seconds, or rather was there just as I looked. Now it's 1.0, so Ashton Lawson starting to come on strong here. He's already gotten by the 49 of Shane Neiswanger, but he's starting to make a charge to the front here as tires are really starting to matter here farther back in the pack. Brent Kingcott has fallen from his fourth place starting position all the way back to the 8th place position, and he's about to come under fire from the 44 of Matt Durr and the charging number 1 of Jared Darling.
Yeah, a lot going on back at the midpoint of this pack. We've got Spencer Owens has cleared his way around Cincy and is now past, I believe that's it's Trent Curtis, and he's working on getting towards Hansen and Kep. So these guys starting to work their way up that we're saving towards the back there and potentially put themselves in a spot where they can be right around the top 10 as these pit stops cycle. Don't count out old Nathan Jump, though. He hasn't caught Zach Henry, but he has made his march up to Shane Neiswanger and is now looking at that 3rd position pretty excitedly.
And he hasn't let Ashton Lawson get away either there. Those two drivers really maintaining that consistent gap in between the two of them, but both of them staying in lockstep with each other as Nathan Jump and Shane Neiswanger setting a do battle here, going down the back straightaway. They're going to be side by side here as they go into 3. Shane's got that preferred quote unquote faster outside lane, but the tires just aren't going to matter, or rather the speed isn't going to matter there. I take that back. He just pinched Nathan Jump down, couldn't get the exit. Shane Neiswanger holds on to that 3rd place position here for the time being.
Yeah, what put Jump in that position was the fact that we saw it on the camera. Shane got a little tight, caught the wall a little bit, gave Jump an opportunity to get to the bottom, but I really don't think you're going to want to pass on the bottom. I said the top's going to wear your tires quicker, but the issue is just now that the tires are worn, you can't rotate on the bottom and clear people quick enough to be able to make the pass matter. So, you're going to want to get to the top, and it looks like you can see everyone kind of arcing, similar to a Darlington style through 1 and 2, where they go up nice and high and they cut down and try to get that run off the corner and get away from that wall. So right now, top side working, bottom side not really lending any type of opportunity to pass. And Ashton Lawson has not put anything in between him and Zach Henry. It's back down to a 1.6 gap.
Boy, last time by, you saw it on your screens there, a big moment there from Michael Cincy. The tire wear already coming into effect. He got tight up off of 4 and slapped the outside wall there and had to concede the position back to Nicholas Caressel, who started in the 17th position, still running right there in time. But like you said, Elliot, those tires already wearing, and it's just going to make that exit of the corner off even tougher, and you can't carry that speed down the straightaway, and then you lend yourself to getting pounced on by the drivers behind you.
Yeah, we said it, and I mean, tires matter, and Spencer Owens is showing it. We're at the end of this run now, but he just cleared Eric Kep. That's for the 12th spot. Spencer started 24th in this race, and I say this every single week because it's like if he would just qualify mid-pack, run mid-pack, he'd probably be about 6th or 7th right now, as we've got guys on pit road already, but I believe it's Ron Foss now making a bit of an early stop here, but Spencer Owens showing that these tires and sitting back and waiting it out can get you up towards the front, already up to 12th now, trying to track down Mike McConville for that 11th spot.
We want to talk about a battle that's been going on here for this 8th place spot. Brent Kingcott has been holding up 3 other drivers in Jared Darling, Mike McConville, and Matt Durr. Matt Durr was hot on his heels there, could not complete the pass, and has apparently burned up his stuff as the 1 and the 81 have now gone by him, as Jared Darling sets his sights on the 5 of Brent Kingcott here. Brent's on the outside, Jared down on the inside there, trying to take the shorter way around the track. He's going to clear Brent this time and set sail there on those newer tires. He's got a bit of a gap up to TCB there in 7th, but if Jared's been saving his tires right, I believe he can track him down.
Yeah, you can see a good bit of effort going on there. Gavin Fitzgerald trying to get around Trent Curtis as they go down into turn 3. Nicholas Carrussell right behind them. Carrussell was as far down as about nearly 20th, I think, at one point, so he's been saving his stuff. He's cleared Sensi and those guys and has made his way. Now he's going to look towards trying to get to the bottom of Gavin Fitzgerald and trying to pick off this 15th spot. And look at that run that he gets through the middle of that corner. He's just going to straight up clear Gavin and go. Not sure if Gavin gave that to him or what, but he is just dead and gone there. As Sims has now caught Jump, and the battle for 4th is on.
We'll leave a great way to tell who's got the better tires here as we look at Nathan Jump and Jackson Sims doing battle here for the 4th position here. A great way to tell the health of someone's tires just from a visual look is when they come up off of the corner, if they get squirrely at all, that means that their tires are suffering. They're not able to really be planted when they come back up off of that corner there. The banking here is really tall, and it lends itself to almost like a Dukes of Hazzard style ramp when it comes off, when they come off of the corner there onto the straightaways. So you saw Gavin Fitzgerald a little while ago when he got passed by the 45 of Nick Caressel there, got loose off of the corner, but a great way to look as we've got pit stops up for your leaders already happening. Nathan Jump is going to be the first one to dive onto pit road here on lap 41.
Yeah, not really sure. Technically, this is going to be a lap 40 pit stop if this is early or not. We were hearing it'd be as far as 45 to 48, but now Sims is coming down this time by, and I'm not sure if that's just because of Jump pitting this early and he doesn't want to have to pass him back on the track later or what. OTCB slides down pit road, and he's actually going to wreck it onto pit road. He's in the inside wall, and we're going to have to watch because this is one of the hardest pit roads to get onto, and TCB is now out of this race.
Big, heavy contact for the 3 of Tyrell Baker there as he slid going into pit road there. Could not get it woed down safely and just absolutely nosed in right into that inside wall there. We were talking with Jared in the pre-race about how narrow this track is, and those walls come at you fast, Elliot, when you're coming down off of these corners there. It's a big transition to try and get woed up for this pit road.
Yeah, it definitely is, and those barriers and those barriers will come up and bite you really quick. The truck doesn't really want to stop that well. You can see how hard it was for Zach to try to get in there. He slid, may have sped coming on. We'll have to see how that works out. Shane Nicelonger coming down right with him. Chris Heller right there as well. Those are 3 guys from the top 5. Ashton Lawson's going to stay out and run this one a little bit longer, and I'm interested to see because he's the Spectrum guys are running long here compared to their normal quick pit stop. So Gavin Fitzgerald, Eric Kep still on track. Eric Kep hitting pit road this time by. Gavin Fitzgerald not going to follow him as Sensi and Fitzgerald go on by.
You saw the difficulty getting on the pit road there, and it continues for Eric Kep there. He gets safely onto pit road this time. But yeah, when Nathan Jump pit there, you really, as we see Ashton Lawson now hits pit road this time, that'll cycle just about all the leaders out there, I believe. When Nathan jumped there, it dragged everybody back to pit road here with how, and as we see Zach Henry throwing a huge block on Nathan Jump there going down the back. Give Jump the advantage here. Nope, I take it back. They're going to be side by side as they come up off the corner. As I was saying, when Jump came to pit road, the fall off on these tires is so massive that really you don't have a choice but to follow the first person down, because otherwise they're just going to be making up an extraordinary amount of time on these older tires, on the drivers who have older tires on them. So everybody was able to dive down onto pit road there, get some fresh rubber, and now as we see, Mike McConville has now assumed the race lead. Rather, he's staying out long on this one. Elliot, is there some fuel strategy to be played in this one?
Well, Louis Woodall just nearly spun on the pit road, similar to TCB. The only fuel strategy can be played is if they can actually run to 50 to 51 laps. That'll put them on a 3-stop strategy. Everyone else is looking at being a few laps short on this 40 to 45 lap run. So McConville's going to try it here. He's coming around and going to take lap 49, but the other side of this is just how much time they lose. Similar to, I believe they've tried to play this out at Indy. They might just lose too much time. I mean, McConville's losing seconds here compared to others that have already pitted since he's already gone around him. And you're going to put yourself in a position where you might come back out on track and be a lap down. So Rodriguez hits pit road this time, but McConville's going to be able to go to 50. And we'll just have to see how this works out for him over the race. But with the pace that Zach's been putting down, I really don't know that this is the right strategy call for McConville. It worked for him very well at Indy. It might not work out here.
With how short this racetrack is, too, the people who pit are going to go multiple laps down, if more than one on this one, especially with it being roughly a 24-second lap time on this. So going multiple laps down on this with how long the pit road is here. So with these guys playing this longer strategy, it really is going to be just a game of Russian roulette, for lack of a better term, with how if a caution were to fall, who is going to be on the better end of it? Will Mike McConville, Ross Brockman, those two guys who have stayed out, as we see Mike McConville hits pit road this time, like you said, that magical lap number 51 here for his fuel strategy. He's definitely going for that 3-stop strategy, but depending on who gets it, see, because everyone else other Mike and Ross had the entire field one lap down in their strategy up until Mike just pit there, and you can see all the cars blazing by him and Ross Brockman as they both hit pit road. So like I said, game of Russian roulette when it comes to if a caution were to come out, and it would pin either a lot of people a lap down or just absolutely ruin Mike and Ross's race.
Well, Zach's already clean past Mike McConville. He's in the middle of the backstretch, and McConville is just now leaving his box. So McConville's going to basically be a lap down, but the question is, does he make that up over the entire run with 2 more pit stops left, and how much time is Zach going to lose between that pit stop? We obviously don't have that math. Maybe McConville does, but right now McConville is going to be right in front of Zach as he comes out. Zach's right behind him, and he's got to deal with Matt Rodriguez here and get trapped in the corner. So McConville might need to go a little hard, but he might also be in a little bit of a save mode. He's going to run to the back of Rodriguez and he's going to spin right in front of him.
Matt Rodriguez gets tagged by Mike McConville, gets sent down to the inside lane. We're going to stay green on this one because Matt, for the most part, to the iRacing algorithm there, stayed straight. So, unfortunately, big wreck for or a big hit to Matt Rodriguez's night, is that's just going to be absolutely lethal there. It doesn't look like he's got a whole lot of damage, but the fact that he's going to be even slower going around this track and not get the benefit of a caution to stack everybody back up, that is going to be absolutely lethal to his chances tonight.
He was already 3 laps down and actually came on the radio and said that he was dealing with old left side tires. So not sure if maybe he accidentally took 2 and something wasn't working out for him. I'm not sure where he lost all the laps early on, but bad night gone worse for Matt Rodriguez, unfortunately, as he'll sit on pit road. And you can just see it was just a little bit of contact between McConville and Rodriguez. McConville wanted to go up but had that truck right behind him, so didn't really want to cut his nose off and just misjudged it and made a little bit of contact with Rodriguez. That'll basically be the end of Rodriguez's night. He may come back out, but it's not really going to be super salvageable at that point.
I think if Matt Rodriguez was any more sideways, like 1 degree more, Barney the flag man was going to throw that yellow flag, and we were going to get a re-rack and restack here, but he manages to keep it just straight enough to where we stay green here, and to Zach Henry's benefit, as he is opening up a gap on teammate Nathan Jump once again in this one. We saw how Jump pitted early and how that's benefited him. He has leapfrogged the 49 and the 26 of Lawson and Nicewonger there in this one. So he's up to second, but we'll have to see how well he's able to maintain that here, as we've got a absolute dogfight for third here between Ashton Lawson, Jackson Sims, and Shane Nicewonger in tow.
Ashton needed to clear Sims right there, and he does. He's just killing his tires, racing Sims as hard, and Sims isn't going to give it up. He's actually going to let him go this time, but Ashton knows that he's about the second place truck and just needs to keep this going. Passing Sims is a big benefit right there, but he was miles ahead of Shane prior to those cautions, and actually, well, I don't know if he was driving away from him, but he had them all beat, so he needs to get back going and get gone, because he's starting to lose valuable time to Zach Henry, and even more valuable time to someone like Nathan Jump right in front of him.
Ashton Lawson with 4 lap fresher tires than Jackson Sims. Ashton's got 15 lap old tires, while Jackson has 19 lap old tires. Meanwhile, with Shane Nicewonger, there's 17 lap old tires sitting there behind him. So a 2 lap difference in between all those tires. They're running together right now. Will they be later on in this run?
Spencer Owens from 24th is now 9th, right behind teammate Jared Darling. And that is just one of the most impressive things I think so far tonight. I'm interested to see how he finishes this one out, but starting from basically dead last, and give it a little shout out to Austin Moore as well, coming back after missing a few races. He started 25th right with Spencer. He's back there in about 13th too. So both of these guys started pretty much dead last and have worked their way up, and Jared's about to go around Brent for, I believe that's a 7th spot, and Spencer's got his eyes on Brent for 8th.
Spencer Owens must have been in the marching band in high school, because he has done nothing but march his way forward in this event all the way up to the 9th position, and he is still looking for more, as he's got his eyes set on the number 1 truck of Jared Darling right there for the 8th position there. Zach Henry has now opened up a 2, almost 3 second gap on teammate Nathan Jump here, as Ashton Lawson tries to reel him down. The gap has been shrinking in between the 25 and the 26, but it hasn't been very fast. Elliot, how is we got to imagine that those tires are going to fall off eventually for the 25, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's also short pitting though, so his fall off's not going to be as bad as you might expect. So he might be on the better edge of the strategy here. But right now, the big question is how much Ashton can catch Zach. In clean air, Ashton is 0.3 quicker than Zach right now, and that is crucial to him catching him by the end of this run or the end of this race. So I think, I don't know the Jump is as much of a question mark. We'll have to see what his gap is over Zach after this pit stop. But the thing that Jump's doing that can easily be beat is whenever he pits, Zach or Ashton can simply pit a lap after him and just kind of they can rework that strategy. So that's why I never really liked the short strategy. You're stuck in the box that you're in at that point, and you're short pitting compared to everybody else, whereas the guys that run long can simply cut one run in half or just shorten it to the length that you are, and they've already got you beat on tires. So Zach's already 3.5 seconds out on Jump and continuing to drive away, and he can always alter that strategy later on.
We're going to step aside here on lap number 66 in Dover here. The 3rd race in the chase for the GLTS Championship. We will be right back after a few short messages.
Where did the time go? Somehow I lost all those years. Where did the time go? I don't know how I got here. Oh, how did I get here?
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere. And just growing up the way I grew up, and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha 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 ha.
See, Smokey thinks I'm funny.
Welcome back to the Dover Motor Speedway, where the fight is on here for the 6th place position between the 49 of Shane Neiswanger and the 1 of Jared Darling. Jared Darling on the inside here, that preferred lane, but Shane Neiswanger going to hold that momentum and be just ever so behind him there as Jared Darling gets clear going down the front. What a great battle to watch all the way through. Those of you who have Prime able to watch through that side-by-side of ours. But Shane Neiswanger now slipping after starting second, or rather second, falling all the way back to the 7th position. Meanwhile, during the break, Ashton Lawson absolutely slapped the outside wall coming off of turn 4, I believe it was, and he is now down power, Elliot.
I don't know if it's down power, but he's definitely not making up the time that he was to Zach. It was about a 10th or so difference in Ashton's favor. Now it's either been even or a 10th or so towards Zach, and Zach's been in traffic, and Ashton's been in the complete clear. So, yeah, there was another 10th taken out of it right there in Zach's favor, and now it's kind of kept Jump in the mix to where Jump might be able to get to Ashton based off of his strategy. So, Ashton Lawson making a bit of a mistake there, and it's going to cost him in the long run here as he goes from looking like he may have had a winning truck to hoping he can hang on to a top 3 now, because Sims and Heller don't look in the mirror, but they're coming.
And Sims and Heller are on their way, but Nathan Jump right behind him here. He has closed that gap back up to the 26 truck. Ashton was running away with it prior to that contact with the wall, but the 25 now seeing a little bit of a resurgence here as Ashton starts to fall off in this one after contact.
I think that's just those tires and a little bit of that lack of confidence. Now that he hit that wall, he's not going to drive through that corner as hard as he did before. He's a little bit more skeptical of it, so not going to push as hard as he was, and definitely probably losing a little bit of aero and a little bit of a mechanical grip with how much damage that truck has, because he really did hit it pretty hard compared to what I would say is something to get away with.
Tell you who's not lacking in confidence tonight is the 12 of Zach Henry. He has been out front for just about the entire race here. And next up on his radar is the 14 of Gavin Fitzgerald and the playoff driver, the 63 of Eric Kepf there, as they are now exiting 4, flashing by the line this time. And there goes Zach Henry. He's got them in their sights, and we've talked about those two drivers specifically the last couple of weeks about how they've been playing the off strategy, going long this time as opposed to their normal short pit antics on this one, Elliott. And it's once again doesn't seem to be working out for him.
Yeah, Dover's tough. I mean, McConville's making the long run work, but I just think that those guys don't really have the pace here to make that strategy work tonight. I feel like I've been saying that every other week. Eric usually comes with the pace, and Gavin's kind of lacking and tries to find in the middle of the race. But right now, it just looks like both of them can't really get anything going here.
You saw Gavin Fitzgerald slap the wall there last time by off of 4. And now Nathan Jump has hit pit road this time. The pit cycle is now officially open for business, as he was the first one to pit last time. He's the first one to pit this time. Out of your leaders, Jackson Sims is going to come around this time. He will dive onto pit road as well.
Yeah, we've got to be careful about these pit stops. No one actually ended up getting a penalty last time, but this is a very difficult pit road to get onto, I got to imagine. Obviously, we saw Louis Woodall have an issue, and we saw TCB have to disconnect from the race due to his issue. We might see penalties with speeding, as Brent Kincott's already hit pit road as well.
Taking back through the leaders here, Shane Neiswanger elects to hit pit road this time. He is smoothly a very aggressive entry on that one. Have to look at the flags on that one that time. As he hits pit road this time, it doesn't look like anyone else is coming down this time here. But as you see, the Spectrum duo of Fitzgerald and Gavin almost slapping the wall again off of 4. Those tires have got to be screaming for him, as Zach Henry is looming large. Starting to loom large behind him there. You can see the gap. Zach Henry's got him in his eye, in the scope, lining up shot.
And don't look now. Jump is taking chunks out right now, and all of this is going to equal a big gain as this resets. You got to wonder if Zach's maybe thinking about his strategy a little bit different. Obviously, drove out to a 4-second gap, but he is about to be passed by Jump, and that's going to put Jump back on the lead lap. And if Zach doesn't pit here, it might be trouble as this run goes on.
The 26 of Ashton Lawson, the 11 of Chris Heller have hit pit road. Zach Henry, your leader, is going to hit pit road this time. Elliot, we didn't see this time around as quick of a response to Jump's pit. It seemed like everybody, save Jackson Sims, ran maybe 2 or 3 more laps before diving on a pit road behind him. Is that just the field trying anything rather than just following the leader?
I feel like that's what we saw last time. There's a lot of guys that are kind of running a little bit long because they know how much those tires mean. Spencer Owens being one of them. Jared Darling made it work before. Obviously, Sims is pretty aware of how his tires worked as well. So, you've got the normal guys staying about as long as they were. And then we're also still paying very close attention to Mike McConville back there, who is on basically the most alternate strategy that you could be, trying the 3-stop race while everyone else is trying the 4-stopper.
Well, don't forget Ross Brockman. He's not in the playoffs, but he is also trying that off strategy there with Mike McConville. And those two have still been inseparable, running on the track. They're right next to each other. Mike McConville flashes across the line now, and there is Ross Brockman right behind him. So, as we are having reports of a Eric Kepf disconnect in this one, I haven't seen it pop up on my radar. But Elliot, can we get a check on that, because that would be absolutely massive to Eric Kepf's championship hopes. He was running in the back, not having such a great night, but a disconnect would absolutely be lethal to his championship hopes.
Double checking, it looks like as he hit pit road, it doesn't look like he hit the barrels. He may have spin. No, he didn't even speed. I wonder if he was very close to speeding, but then he just disappears. So I wonder if maybe he had a connection issue and he is now gone. But regardless, Eric Kepf is not here, and he will not be returning. He is not on the track.
Boy, that pretty much just puts the final nail in the coffin for his championships hopes. Not having a great week last week, and now this week, it's really just with a 7 race chase, you've really got to be on your game every single week here. As you see Jared Darling going back by the 49 of Shane Neiswanger here. Shane trying to stay with him this time, pushing him down the back. But those newer tires of Jared Darling, he's got about 4 lap fresher tires than Shane's, and that's already showing here as he starts to stretch that gap out in front of him.
Yeah, we can now confirm in a very rare event, Eric Kepf has dropped due to packet loss. So internet connection is going to be his downfall tonight. Very rare for him. I don't know if he still holds the record for running the most laps in GLR competition, but one of our long-running candidates here, as well. Adam Zorn is disconnected from the session, running 25th on track. So If you guys dropping out again, this is also a pretty long race. It is 200 laps. We're 93 in, not even at halfway. And we can see some guys not able to make this one work for them.
For those of us comparing the strategies between Mike McConville and Zach Henry has already gotten by the 81 of Mike McConville, and he's already put pretty much a straightaway gap in between in the span of just 2 to 3 laps on this one. He's coming up now on the leader, Nick Caressel, unlapping himself this time. So that alternate strategy, we're seeing this flip-flop back on it. Elliot, how is can we compare and contrast as to how we were last time?
Louis Woodall has also disconnected, just to keep you up on what's going on. He caught the barriers hitting pit road and didn't actually destroy his car that much, but did enough to it that he's going to disconnect from the session. So another one down as Eric Kepf reconnects.
I do think it's interesting that Nick Caressel is running as long as he is. He pit 3 laps earlier than Mike McConville and Ross Brockman on that last cycle. So I would have to guess that he is trying to jump to that off strategy. Elliot, how much success is it going to have with that, with how fast this track is? Is there opportunity to mega save, say it?
You're going to lose a lot of time doing it. You can see Ashton Lawson's already lost a lot of time. You can see Sensi right there as they all try to get around now. The very slow truck of Mike McConville, who's on this off strategy, but to jump to that strategy off of what you had been doing it's not ideal, but it's certainly possible, especially if you can run that long. I just don't know if he'll be able to stretch that out like McConville can already do here. So we'll have to see. He made it work pretty far that time, but I don't remember exactly when he pit the first run. I thought he had already pit around about 46 or 47. So that puts him right about 97. So it doesn't really change a whole lot, but we'll have to see how that works out for him over the run.
You can see on your screen here, Ashton Lawson and Matt Durr doing battle here. That is the battle. I take that back. That is not a battle for position. Matt Durr is a lap down back in the 15th position, and Ashton Lawson is up in the 5th position here. But you can see, whoa, as they split the 4 truck of Robin Durr. Rod Fosna. What a move there by the 26 and the 44. Great driving as they come up off of for that time. An excellent move to stay in it and stay on the gas.
Yeah, with McConville running this long, we've got a lot of guys that are lapped down, a lot of guys that aren't, and Jump is still taking some good ground out of McConville's time, but we are halfway through this time by. McConville's going to complete lap 100. He's going to make this strategy work. It's just going to come down to how big of a difference those tires are for Jump versus McConville, or, Zach Henry's still back there. We keep, I haven't said Zach's name in a little bit, but that's because Jump is still ahead of him somehow. He's made this run work really well, but again, depending on how far out Zach gets here, he can always alternate this strategy and come out right with Jump. As McConville hits pit road, I don't believe he sped. He did lock him up on entry, but he should be okay here. We'll just have to see what Zach's plan is. He's got at least 1 more pit stop left, more than likely 2, because he can't make this work. Does he cut the other run in half? Because I believe that's what Jump's basically looking at as well.
Zach Henry is basically the kingmaker in this one. He's got the speed, and he is back out in front, so save Mike McConville. It's not really much of a strategy for Zach Henry here, as nobody has been able to touch him in terms of raw speed. He is back by the 25 of Nathan Jump and back out in front here in Dover.
It's always impressive what McConville's been able to do here. I mean, he just keeps doing this on a week-to-week basis, and sometimes it doesn't work that well, and other times it works incredibly well. Like today, it's probably going to net him about a top 5 if everything goes the way he wants it to. So, even on pace alone, it looks like through this he's about a 10th place truck. So to be this far off strategy and still have a shot at a top 5 is really solid. He is going to be a lap down here, though. This is where his strategy is very dangerous. If a yellow were to come out right now, it would ultimately destroy him. Where it helps him is when we go long, or when he goes long, and he is then the leader. obviously he gains all those positions out of that. But right now you can see he's going to work his way through some slower traffic when he is on some fresh rubber. And this is always the hardest part of this run, is managing those tires and knowing how far you have to go, but also trying to get around this traffic so you're not losing too much time.
Not unlike a lizard when it sheds its skin. Mike McConville in a very vulnerable spot after his off-strategy pit stop here, as Zach Henry continues to just put more and more cars a lap down here. He's got 12 of them, or well, all but 11 cars on the lead lap. Everyone from 12th on back is now a lap down to the blistering pace that Zach Henry has been able to set here in Dover. You can see the 91 of Austin Moore there right in front of him. That's the next one on the list, as Zach has just been absolutely pacing this field with nobody really to contend.
Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised at guys like Austin Moore and Nick Carreso. Remember, we talked about them running it back around 15th to 20th, and now they're right there, right outside the top 10. So interesting. They've obviously played their strategies a little different and leapfrog guys like Michael Sensi and Matt Durr. Matt Durr's dropped way off the mark all the way down in 13th now, when he was up there battling around 5th or 6th for a little while. So you've also got guys like Jared Darling up in 6th. Spencer Owens made his way up to 8th. So very interesting to see how all these strategies are starting to play out here.
Yeah, the next rundown that I'm going to be looking at here is if Spencer Owens can run down Shane Neiswanger. Spencer's broken into that top 8, like we've said. He's been marching from the back all the way up to the front, but now he's starting to hit the part of the running order where they're going to be they're not necessarily going to lay over for him, as we see Jared Darling going by the 11 of Chris Heller here, move Jared Darling up into the top 5 from his 16th starting position. An awesome march for Jared as he continues to move forward here, already knocking on the back door of Ashton Lawson here, as they're going to go side by side down into 3.
Yeah, this run here has definitely flipped, guys. We're very we're seeing a lot with these different tire strategies and everything, and you can see McConville now entering the picture. He's got to try to get around these guys. Sensi has better tires than all these guys, so they're driving around them, trying to get laps back and get ultimately get positions later. Sensi and McConville are 14th, but they're trying to get up through the field and get their lap back, and then all these other guys are just, it's the tire flip. Jared goes longer, so now he has fresher tires. He's going to catch Sims and try to get to 3rd, and then they're both going to look towards trying to get up the jump. But I think the big issue for Lawson is that damage has creeped up, and it is now really hurting that 26 truck.
Ashton Lawson slipping farther and farther back there as Chris Heller is going to try and run him down now. But meanwhile, out in front of him, Jared Darling sets his sights on the 6 of Jackson Sims. You can see him right there in that middle Georgia paint scheme. He is right there in the crosshairs of Jared Darling, with only the 52 of Ross Brockman, who is on newer tires on that off strategy in between them. So a big battle shaping up here for the 3rd position here, as Jared Darling continues his strides towards the lead.
And Spencer Owens starting to line up Shane Neiswanger. That's for the 7th spot. Spencer, with where he's at, could ultimately jump all the way up to about that 3rd or 4th spot. These guys from 3rd on back are so close together, a second and a half separating 3rd and 6th, that anything could happen between strategies and tires.
Yeah, really, it's so interesting how 3rd through 6th are all within a 2-second window of each other here, and absolutely putting on a great show here in Dover. We are going to take you side by side for our Twitch Prime. For our subscribers, and for everyone else, we're going to step aside and take a quick break here. 114 down, rather make it 115 as Zach Henry flashes by the line here in Dover.
Where did the time go? Somehow I lost all those years. Where did the time go? I don't know how I got
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere. And just growing up the way I grew up and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha 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 ha.
See, Smokey thinks I'm funny.
Welcome back to the Dover Motor Speedway. 122 laps down in this 200-lap event. We have pit stops this time, and Elliot, this one is going to throw a major monkey wrench into those guys who are saving.
Yeah, McConville was on the right strategy. I think Jump was the first person to really see it. It doesn't seem to have phased Zach quite yet, but I was saying over the break that if they want to try to flip this, that Zach needs to pit about as quick as McConville passes him. McConville's passed him and gone now, and it's gained probably 4 or 5 seconds on him, and that's all just extra padding for McConville later on. If Zach pits now, he can run this second run out and do 230 lappers basically, or 240 lappers honestly. And he's going to pit now with how quickly Jump pit. But what was going to happen there was those guys were going to run another 10 laps, and that's just adding to McConville's lead at that point. So right now, everybody still has a pit stop left, and McConville is unfortunately in 6th. But we'll have to see where he is when Zach Henry comes out. If Zach Henry is nearly a lap down to McConville, it's going to take a monstrous effort to be able to jump McConville at this point, because McConville has 1 stop left, and all these guys still have to stop one more time.
Mike McConville, 24 laps on his run, while everyone else is cutting their losses now, and they're hitting pit road to try and cut back into that gap that Mike McConville had magically just suddenly flipped everyone on their heads, whereas he had the gap over top of him when it came to the fuel mileage strategy, as Zach Henry gets his service, and he is down and away this time now, and Mike McConville is just now going on his outside, so that pass happening in 1 and 2 now, so Mike's going to have round about half a straightaway, maybe call it 2/3 of a straightaway over Zach Henry, and Zach Henry's got to hit the go button now.
Yeah, for Zach, these runs, because they're shorter, they're going to run from 125. If they split it in half, they'll be looking at about 170 here, 165-ish. So he's just got 2 kind of 40. Well, it's still basically a full run for him, 160-ish. And then, yeah, the way they broke down, they're basically just running it dead even. And unfortunately for him, I don't know how he really gets there doing it that way.
Mike McConville managing to build up such a gap over everybody. He's still, as Zach Henry is now tracking him back down. I expect to see a pass here as they go into 3. While with that off strategy there, Zach Henry going to look to the outside of Mike McConville, and he's going to go right back around him. So the chase is on now. Zach Henry has unlapped himself and now sets his sights back to the back bumper once again of Mike McConville. He's got 1 lap, got to make up 1 lap, and he's got 72 laps to do it.
72 laps, and they both got one pit stop, and it's going to come down to whose pit stop works the best. McConville's basically going to put him right in the middle, but Zach's runs are split up here. So judging by time, I really don't know. It's definitely going to be interesting to see Trent Curtis coming back on pit road right next to Zach, and that'll kill his run. So McConville is now the only one left on this alternate strategy.
You just had a shot of Jared Darling there. You can see he had stayed out a little bit longer than just about everybody else, and he had gotten leapfrogged all of those guys that he had passed up there in the top 5. Remember, Jared Darling had made his way up to the 3rd position there. He has dropped now down to the 13th spot. Obviously, that's not going to be his final cycling position, as we still got guys who haven't pitted, namely Mike McConville, Matt Durr, Gavin Fitzgerald, and Ross Brockman. But staying out that long, Jared's already gotten around Shane Neiswanger, but he is going to have to fight and claw back around all of those guys up in the top 5, and that's not going to be an easy fight as we're getting down to it. Those guys are not going to be so quick to let up on those positions, and they've got such a hold on. It's going to be a dogfight here in the closing laps in this event.
Looking at it based on time, I think Zach's honestly just going to be able to straight up get there. It looks like he's putting away about 2 seconds on Mike a lap. It's going to come down to how long this run really goes for Zach as far as what kind of pressure he can keep up. Obviously, McConville's going to go another like 20 laps here, so Zach could make all this time up right here on this run right now, and if he can do that, they both reset, and then it's just a race to the end. McConville and Kingcott really close together, puts Kingcott out towards the wall. They all kind of survive, but McConville on a completely different strategy, racing for his life right now. At a minimum, he should come out of here with a top 5, though, pretty comfortably.
Big strategy moves by Mike McConville. We've seen it all season long from him, but really in the playoffs, this is where it's been shining here. He has been the center of attention for just about all 3 of the playoff races that we've had so far. It's worked out in one. Can it work off? It didn't work out last week in Nashville. Can it work out this week here in Dover?
And I don't know. This is very similar to Indy, where his pace just, I don't think, is really there compared to what it needs to be. But he knows that he needs to go a certain amount of laps, and he's right on the threshold of that. So, again, it all comes down to where Zach is when Mike pits here. Zach is already within 15 seconds of him, and there's 15 laps to go. So if Zach can keep a 1 second gap going, or a 1 second gain going every lap, he'll be at his back bumper. And then when McConville pits, Zach can do whatever he wants, and then it's just a race on pace at that point. But McConville's always going to have to go longer, and Zach will probably go another 5 laps and then be able to eat into it later. But we've got one in the wall, Rod Fosna, and they're wrecking. No yellow, but it was Rod Fosna, and I couldn't tell who the other guy was. I believe that's Lewis Woodall, maybe Jared Darling. That was Jared Darling who was making up a lot of time.
That is not good for Jared Darling. I'm trying to look. It doesn't look like he's got, well, no, I take that back. There is a lot of damage. The left front of that trunk is crinkled in now. Had to be some contact coming off of the corner there, where it all seems to come together in this one as we take a look back at the replay. Aiden DuPont gets up into the 4, and then Jared Darling just runs right into the back of Aiden because of all the momentum that Aiden had lost. Jared didn't even have any time to check up as he careens into the back of Aiden DuPont, luckily able to keep it straight and keep going, but that is absolutely going to hurt his truck and his efforts going forward here. We were talking about how he had just, and as I say that, he is hitting pit road this time. That is absolutely a brutal blow to his race tonight.
That's his championship right there, and I believe that's his race. The left front is basically disconnected. Tie rod broken on that truck. It doesn't look good for Jared Darling. You don't know where you go there. I mean, Aiden just got in the back of him, and there wasn't really anywhere where Jared could go. He was probably going to try to go high, but he thought Aiden was going to fill that spot, and now he's going to sit here and try to diagnose the damage. It looks like they're already fixing it, or they're already putting tires on it pretty quickly, so it might not be too bad off on damage, but definitely going to hurt him as far as engine power and everything else. On the flip side of this, Zach Henry has completely eaten up Mike McConville's gap, and with 10 laps to go, it's right at 9 seconds, so it's going to be a straight-up dogfight between McConville and Henry right now for the win.
Yeah, Mike McConville really just right on the edge of his, I say that rather. He needs to go 48 laps on this run here. He is on lap 40, and the gap is already under 7 seconds, shrinking even closer. As I talk, it's going to get down to 6. So Zach Henry setting a blistering pace, trying to run down the 81 of Mike McConville there here with 59 laps to go.
I mean, you still got to hand it to McConville. At a minimum, he's looking at least a 5th or 6th place finish. He's completely flipped the boards. I wonder where he would have really run, considering he started 10th, how he would have run just straight up on pace. But he's done a very good job of making his strategy work out for him, and he might put it into a podium position based off it again.
Well, now don't write him out just yet, because just like at Indy, this race looked like it wasn't going to go Mike McConville's way, and then we got a late race caution. And if there's one track where I would bet on a caution on the Great Lakes Truck Series schedule, it would be this one. This is a very tough, physical track. It's a very long race here, 200 laps at this concrete 1 miler here. A long, grueling event, as we were talking earlier about how many guys have gone a lap down. I think the bigger metric would be how many guys have gone two or more laps down here, as Matt Durer and running in 16th is the first one 2 laps down, and everyone behind him, it just gets worse from there. We've had a very clean back half of the season in Great Lakes this year with not a lot of cautions, but if you were to look at the leaderboard with no context, you wouldn't think it'd be very clean, but that's just the nature of this track. It's very demanding, very tough on these trucks, and it's very easy to slip up. You've seen it all night long, guys hitting that outside wall, and it just nickels and dimes away until suddenly it's taking chunks out of the car, and you've got Jared Darling sitting on pit road just as a result of that.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mike McConville's race nearly ended. Him and Preston Henry got together going down into turn 1, and it sent McConville way up the track, nearly turned him all the way around, as Zach Henry has completely closed the gap now. It's at 2 seconds, and McConville is very close to his pit stop, but I do not think that he's going to be able to do anything with that 12 truck. He's just going to have to kind of hope that he can manage and keep his gap over Nathan Jump, Chris Heller, and those guys, and might come out of here with a top 3 finish based off of that. But right now, Zach Henry is just setting the pace that he needs to win this race.
1.6 seconds, now 1.5, 1.4, as Zach keeps on just taking absolute chunks out of Mike McConville's lead here. Mike's on lap number 47 of his run. He needs to get to, I believe, lap number 150 in this event to be able to make it, and he's going to have to do 2 more laps on those tires. I don't believe it's going to be enough to hold that gap over Zach Henry here in the closing laps of this event.
Yeah, Zach's getting there. He's got a little bit of traffic in front of him, so it's not really helping him, and his lap time has slipped. He's all the way down to 24 flats, but McConville is literally running 24 6s, so still 6/10 quicker for Zach Henry, and you can see as he's only a second behind him, just because of this lap traffic, he's going to be able to get there, but he's going to be able to probably pass him pretty quickly here. But McConville only needs to hold on for 2 more laps. Again, this is basically going to come down to how these pit stops work out for these two. They're right next to each other on track, though.
I think it's very interesting. I just noticed a detail. The 2 trucks in between Mike McConville and Zach Henry, teammates of Mike McConville. How will Zach navigate these 2 trucks here, who you've got to think as they go too wide, they're just trying to, as Mike McConville's going to hit pit road this time, so he's made it to pit road. Ooh, that was close. They're shades of Kurt Busch at Homestead back in 2004. His championship and his race almost ended right there, as he was mere inches from that pit wall.
I believe he may have sped. He hit that line close to 60 miles an hour. That might be all it wrote for Mike McConville. We'll have to see if he sits on pit road and serves the penalty here, but right now, it doesn't look like that's going to work out for him.
He does have the black flag on the entries list on iRacing. Mike McConville's race, he had done so well, it's all up in smoke now, as he has to sit here and get told to wait by the iRacing official there. Really unfortunate, and you got to think that's just going to absolutely kill his championship hopes here as we start to get into the back half of this chase schedule. He was really hoping for a nice rebound after Nashville didn't really work out for him, and it looked like it was on track to at least net him a top 5, but not going to happen here in Dover.
He still has yet to leave his box. This is probably going to put him 2 laps down. With the time that it requires you to sit, it's almost, I believe, 30 seconds or so. So that's more than enough time for Zach to go around the track at least once. He's already put him 1 more lap down, and you can see McConville just leaving pit road now. So unfortunately for McConville, he is not going to put himself in a position to get a top 3 here tonight.
Mike McConville exiting pit road now, and now the role of top finisher on Trent Curtis Racing will fall to team owner Trent Curtis, as he has put together a rather solid night. Started in the 12th position. He's running in 9th. The last truck 1 lap down, just managing to stay just in front of Zach Henry for the last, pretty much the entire run. I believe when, I think that he was just in front of Zach Henry at the beginning of this thing. So a solid night for Trent Curtis. Unfortunately, his teammate Mike McConville, who was in the chase and definitely carrying that team on his shoulders in terms of points performance. Unfortunately, a brutal hit to his night.
Tell you what, we haven't talked about the 11 truck at all tonight, but he's sitting there right on the back of teammate Nathan Jump, and he is all the way up to 3rd, potentially going to steal 2nd from Jump here, depending on how these strategies work out. He's distanced himself from Sims. Ashton's had his issue, and obviously Jared Darling with his issue. Heller's jumped all of them now, so really good job by Heller to just kind of stay in it and put himself in a spot to potentially come out of here with a top 3 finish. We haven't talked about him much all season or all race, but really good night tonight. We're going to see how his last pit stop goes.
At 25-11, holding down the top 3 positions. You beat me to it, really. I was just getting ready to talk about Chris Heller there after you threw it back to me, but Heller, a resounding rebound here from he had fallen all the way down to probably the 6th, 7th, or 8th position there, but after everyone just managing to keep it clean, and that's really what it comes down to. Elliot, I know you are very much a purveyor of that. Just keep it clean in the Great Lakes, and you'll go a lot farther than what you think. And Chris Heller has done just that, rebounding up to that bronze medal position, looking for that 2nd place spot with his teammate Nathan Jump right in front of him.
I'm just wondering when these guys start to pit. They're at the edge of that window, so I believe anywhere in the next 5 laps you'll start seeing guys come down pit road. Jump's usually been the first one to pit, so we'll probably keep a camera on him and see when that happens. But right now, right at that window, 40 laps to go coming up, 41 to go this time by, and
49 has hit pit road. He will be the first to come down pit road right at 40 to go, and it's Shane Neiswanger going to lead the charge on the pit road. Nick Caressel has abandoned that long strategy. He's going to hit pit road as well. Everyone you got to think is going to be coming either this time or next, as the window is 40 and we have hit 40 to go. So Shane Neiswanger, a little bit of a flip strategy from him, pitting early this time. He's been one of the ones who's been running a little bit longer, or rather right in the middle of the pit cycle. And as I say that, Nathan Jump, historically being the first one to hit pit road, he will hit pit road this time. So Shane trying to flip the script on this one, as he had fallen outside of the top 7 down to 8th, had gotten passed by Spencer Owens, who we just can't sing praises highly enough about, coming all the way from the 24th starting position. But pit stop's already underway, and we've got more takers on pit road, as the KFS guys of Brent Kinghot and Jackson Sims have hit pit road this time.
Now, how about a little shout out to Nick Caressel? He's quietly found his way up inside the top 10. Remember, he was racing with Sensi and those guys back around 15th early on in this race, and he's kind of jumped him, Nat Durr, and others all the way up to about that 7th, 8th spot before he pit there. If he can come away with a nice solid top 8 finish, he's going to be looking real good moving on through this chase, especially with the woes that some of these other guys have had, like Jared Darling and Eric Kep. He could be putting himself in a good spot to be top 5 in points here.
It really does just come down to keep it clean in the Great Lakes Truck Series, and you will do well. And Nick Caressel has done just that, a solid rebound from him, as you see Jackson Sims getting back up to speed this time. Trying to think of what else to say, but we're right in the middle of pit cycles here. Preston Henry, what a close call from him. He did the same thing that Mike McConville did right there, mere inches from that dividing wall there. between pit road and the track. Going to have to look and see if he was able to get it woed back down. A monstrous entrance for pit road for the 2 truck there. The other 2511 entry in this one. A very aggressive entry for him.
Yeah, just going back to what we were talking about, Nick Caressel and just staying clean and everything. The other side of that is Nick's been on that long run. He was the other guy that was running about as long as McConville and Brockman. So you can see what being able to flip that strategy and have those much fresher tires does. That's why I kind of wish McConville wasn't going on the 3-stopper and would have run the 4-stopper. And with the pace that he had on those runs, he probably could have run around the top 5 regardless. It was going to work out for him pretty well, but you got to wonder what it could have been if he would have stayed on the similar strategy, because Caressel's probably going to come out with about a top 5, top 6 finish, or at least a shot at it, as he comes out behind Niswanger, who was running about 7th.
Zach Henry brings that black number 12 truck down pit road. You see it. You saw that camera shot there of him rounding the corner, kind of lumbering down, like almost like Jaws. You can all but hear the Jaws theme in the background as he hits pit road. He's going to have 32 laps or 32 laps to make it to the end on this one. Not going to be stretching the tires at all. He is going to be at full bore. I doubt anybody's going to catch him unless we get a caution.
Now, Heller's also running really long here. I'm not sure what the strategy is on this. He's going to pit now, him and Ashton Lawson. And he's going to make it somehow, some way, but maybe. I don't know. He was doing about 50 when he hit that line.
Has been black flag.
There you go.
That is huge. So the 2511 trio has been broken up now as Heller has a real aggressive entry into pit road there, and it kind of sneaks up on you. We've been seeing all night long guys locking up those rears, and the back end steps out as they try and get it woed down. Chris Heller, the latest victim in the Dover pit lane speeding speed limit. In this one, he is going to lose. He's going to have to sit on pit road there for around about 30 to 40 seconds as his teammate Zach Henry flashes back by the line there, and while Chris Heller sits on pit road.
We can chalk that one up to a curse. Commentator's curse is Austin Moore and Rod Fosnall made a little bit of contact on the front stretch there. Rod's kind of been in the middle of a lot of stuff that he doesn't want to be in the middle of tonight. Unfortunately, nearly got bit again, but sorry to Chris for that one. I thought he was going to put himself in a really good spot. I was about to say, I don't know why he's running that long, as Curtis hits the line at a high rate of speed. He might be looked at a black flag. You'll have to update me on that, but Heller was looking at potentially being able to track down Nathan Jump for that 2nd place.
If we keep singing Zach Henry's praises high enough, do you think we'll curse him too?
There comes a high point at some point.
Always keeping it lighthearted here in the Great Lakes Truck Series. You hate to see it for Chris Heller. That's a really unfortunate happening for him. As you can see the 2511 duo, the 2 remaining 2511 trucks of Zach Henry and Nathan Jump doing battle once again. Zach Henry hours back by on the outside, move him back in front of Nathan Jump up to that 3rd spot, where he will cycle out to be the leader as soon as Matt Durr and Trent Curtis has hit pit road this time. So as soon as Matt Durr relinquishes the lead, it's going to go right back into the clutches of Zach Henry.
And if he doesn't relinquish it soon, Zach will just go up there and take it, but we've got a yellow.
Right as we are getting ready to go to break, we get a caution on the racetrack. I haven't seen anybody sitting on the track stop. We will have to try and get you a replay on this one. This one's going to be
Robin Durr and Ashton Lawson off turn 4.
Wow, you got that, just a bad night turn worse for Ashton Lawson. It just nickeled and dimed him all the way to the end there, and then finally took chunks out of it, and it ends with Robin Durr sitting sideways on the right in front of the spotter stand, and Ashton Lawson slowly making his way back around. So the caution has finally come out here as these guys are going to hit pit road this time. Elliot, this is very interesting. I think the going everybody who just pit like 12, 13 laps ago, as I look at the lap counts, it maybe not as interesting because of how quick the tire fall off is here, but all the leaders electing to come down this time.
2 interesting notes here. Robin Durr's demise is his son's highlight. Puts Matt Durr up in the lead from, I don't even know where he was running. I believe 8th or 9th at that point. And how about, I don't want to make him feel bad, but McConville, not only is he going to be stuck a lap down right here, but he probably would have been leading this race, and it would have been shades of Indy if he could have made that work. As we're gonna go to a quick break now that we can catch a break, and we'll come right back and get this thing going for the last 30 laps.
Under caution here at the Dover Motor Speedway. 25 laps to go here. Matt Durr is now leading after what we had talked about earlier in the race with those off strategies and going as long as you can. He stayed out as long as he could. And an untimely caution involving his father Robin and Ashton Lawson has brought that 44 truck right to the front.
So Heller's going to be the one that's basically the most hurt here. He's still a lap down. McConville actually going to get back on the lead lap. Just a few updates from the rear. Brockman makes out pretty well there. He's now 11th. So the guys that started 24th, 25th, and 26th get to reset 9th, 10th, and 11th here for the last about 25 laps. And we are about to pull the pace truck down and get ready to go. We are not going to run another lap. We're going green right here with 24 to go.
Pace truck dives on the pit road. Matt Durr in that green and black Xbox 44 truck leads him to the Geico restart zone. The green flag is out. He is away like a shot. He's going to clear Zach Henry. I take it back. Zach Henry's going to still maintain just to the outside of him there with the 25 of Nathan Jump. Hot in tow. Matt Durr sends it on down into turn one there and leaves the 25 of 11 trucks to settle second place for themselves.
We have not seen Zach have to race anyone yet. Remember, Jump started about 5th, never even got a taste of Zach Henry at the beginning of this race, so we don't know what kind of pace Nathan Jump has, as Zach's now having to make that work on the outside. Former teammate Matt Durr going to come up in front of him, make that block into the corner, but Zach wants the outside. He wants to go around him. Jump wants the inside. They're going to try to go 3. Not going to work. Matt Durr still holds the spot. Zach's going to push him down the backstretch, but he knows he needs to get around that 44 right now.
Matt Durr has got Zach Henry in a vice right now, between a rock and a hard place as he slides off of 4 there. Zach Henry into the outside wall. The first time we've seen a chink in the armor all night long from the 12 of Zach Henry here as he slides, makes contact. He's going to slide all the way back to the 5th position, make it 6th as he's going to have to battle now instead of the 25 of Nathan Jump, the 49 of Shane Neiswanger there, and he's still stuck on the outside, Elliott, with his tires absolutely got to be screaming as he goes back by the line.
He gets around him as I believe that's Austin Moore back there getting really loose behind Gavin Fitzgerald. These guys are all over each other, but Zach knows what he needs to do, and he's got to put the pedal down and get moving. He's now right to the back of Ashton Lawson. He doesn't have time to waste. He has 20 laps, but that's going to run really quickly here. Jump still has to get around Durr, though, but Zach's going to have to go around everybody in front of him. So it's a big battle here until the end.
That restart could not have gone any better for the 44 of Matt Durr. He had the two 2511 trucks pinned to one another there, and they couldn't let go with how narrow this racetrack is. You can't afford to give up spots at this place, so they couldn't, neither of them could back off of it. As Zach Henry looks to the inside of Ashton Lawson, nothing doing this time. He's going to fall back in line. Matt Durr has now this is Matt Durr's race to lose at this point. 19 laps to go. There's no tire saving anymore. You just go for it and see where the chips fall.
I wouldn't say that. We know Jump has a ton of pace, and Matt Durr hasn't had the best long-run truck, although he is one of the best tire savers out here. We just haven't seen that as Zach slams the wall coming off of 4, trying to get to the outside of Ashton Lawson. It's all going bad for Zach. He's still going to get to the outside of him, but at what cost? As Jump now going to try to get to the inside of Matt Durr. These two battles are the two that we're watching because this is our top two in the chase as well. So you got to see what Nathan Jump can do and try to get around Matt Durr here in these closing laps.
Really a tale of two attitudes here as Nathan Jump is now breathing down the neck of Matt Durr, but he's nice and calm. Meanwhile, farther back, his teammate has just been every which way and loose all over the back bumper of Ashton Lawson. Here comes Zach Henry back this time. He's going to get right to the bumper of Lawson. A little bit of contact there, not much doing. He's going to fall back in line here. They stay single file this time by, but you hate to see it for Zach Henry. He had just a dominating performance all race long, and then it all gets thrown away with a late race caution. He's pinned back in 5th at a track that is incredibly hard to pass with everybody on equal tires.
Running close to 15 to go here. Jump can just kind of sit. He doesn't really need to do anything. He has nobody to worry about in front of him. Matt Durr is not even in the chase. Remember, comes off an injury, somehow puts himself up here in this reverse pit strategy and has a chance to win this, but this isn't even something that Jump needs to pressure. He has a gap back to Jackson Sims, and he has a gap back to Jackson Sims in the points as well, so nothing that Jump needs to do, although I know he wants to pad that lead moving forward through this chase.
You got to pad the stats. Everything, every little point matters in this one, and Nathan Jump knows that firsthand. And you gotta believe he's going to be going for it. It's just a matter of how can he set Matt Durr up to try and get this win and keep it from being spoiled by a non-playoff driver. Farther back in the pack, it's the 49 and the 45 are side by side there. Shane Neiswanger, Nick Caressel, two playoff drivers looking desperately in need of good finishes. They're both in the bottom 3 of the playoff standings here. They're going to stay side by side this time. Shane on the outside, Nick Caressel on the inside.
Yeah, look behind you too. Old Spencer Owens has made his voice known. He's up here trying to battle these guys, trying to put himself in about the 6th position, seeing how this works out. And look behind them. How about Austin Moore and Ross Brockman? Like I said, 24th, 25th, and 26th, all right there. We're in the 9th, 10th, and 11th now after how this is shaken out. Absolutely incredible. Sorry, actually, they're 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Boy, Brockman got really close to the left rear quarter panel of Austin Moore. He's showing the pressure. They're going to be too wide this time. Are they going to stay that way as they come up off the corner? Yes. So now Spencer Owens is the only one in this group of 5 who doesn't have a dancing partner to be on the outside, to be on the inside of him. And I think he's okay with that, as he is just stuck behind the 49 now, as the 45 is going to get by him, and Spencer Owens is going to set to work on his fellow Pennsylvania native in Shane Neiswanger.
So the problem with Zach's situation up here is he's still trying to look at Ashton Lawson and look for a pass. He has not been in this position all night, and it is incredibly difficult when all you've done is pass lap trucks as the leader and not have to really race anyone. Sit back here and now with 20 laps, now 10 laps, now 9 laps this time by, learn how to pass these guys that are on equal footing as you, and you can just see how difficult it is for Zach. He knew his opportunity was to get around Matt Durr, and unfortunately he overdrove the corner that one time and it bit him, and he just hasn't been the same since.
All it takes is all it takes is one little misstep as both of them pounded the outside wall. You can see the frustration already starting to mount in Zach Henry, and I believe it's mounting in Ashton Lawson as he's going to get to his back bumper there, showing his displeasure here. They're going to have contact coming off of the corner. Zach Henry's going to get to the inside. He's there, looking to the inside this time for that fourth place position, and they got to think that I'd imagine, nope, Zach Henry's going to clear him easily here. Ashton Lawson's going to relinquish that position because he knows probably that Zach Henry's got that better pace, and he's finally gotten around him. But don't look now. Here comes the 45 of Nick Caressel, and he's going to easily clear the 26 of Ashton Lawson. Ashton dropping like a stone here in the closing laps.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Ashton just kind of let Nick go or if he just doesn't have the pace now. Remember, he has a lot of side damage, and him hitting the wall again right there didn't do any justice to that truck. Caressel now going to put the bumper to Zach Henry and try to get around him. That's for fourth. How about the drive from Nick Caressel? We had him 30 laps ago, and here he is in the fray of it, looking at a top 5 finish.
Here comes Nathan Jump for the lead. He's down to the inside of Matt Durr. Matt Durr is going to wrap the top side here, try and hold the momentum off. It's not going to help. They're going to be door-to-door down the back. We've got a fight for the lead with 6 to go here in Dover. Nathan Jump sends it on down. He's not going to clear Matt Durr this time. Or is he? Matt Durr, he's just going to get in front of him there, and Matt Durr's going to try and put the crossover on him. Nothing doing. Move the 25 to the point with 5 laps to go.
Wow, Jump finally got it done. He was biding his time and waiting it out. 5 to go now, and Matt Durr's got to try to mount a comeback. Will he put the bumper to Nathan Jump, or will he race him clean? Matt Durr is usually known as one of the cleanest drivers out here, and knowing that he's racing literally the top 2 in points as it stands, he's got to be a little bit careful about what he does. Nick Caressel to the inside of Zach Henry back there for 4th as well.
Caressel still looking to the inside of the 12 truck of Zach Henry here. But I want to talk about Jackson Sims for a second. How aggressive does he get to try and stay with the 25 of Nathan Jump as we are under 4 laps to go this time? Does he try and get around the 44 of Matt Durr, or has he conceded himself to sit back in that 3rd position? 3 laps to decide it here in Delaware.
Well, it depends how you want to race it. You can sit there and hope that Matt Durr makes another mistake, but it doesn't really look like Matt's been overdriving his truck, so it's kind of on Sims what he wants to do. He can put a bumper to him and try to ease him out of the corner or something and get under him, but it's also going to be really hard to pass, and you don't want to put yourself in a position where you only get next to him and then give Matt Durr a chance to potentially door you or put you in an awkward spot later on and make you lose a couple spots here, because Nick Caressel and Zach Henry aren't exactly that far back.
Nick Russell still trying to work over Zach Henry for that 4th place spot, but up front, Nathan Jump has put a gap in between him and Matt Durr, and it's all clear sailing here for him as he's going to come out of turn 4 this time, taking the white flag lap here in Dover. A monstrous effort from Nathan Jump here, taking advantage of his teammates' woes on that restart, putting himself in the right place at the right time to further pad his points lead here in Delaware. He's going to come around turn 3, turn 4 for the final time. For the first time in the GLTS chase for the championship, Nathan Jump is going to win in Dover.
Really impressive run there at the end to just kind of stay patient with Matt Durr. I know Zach probably wishes he could have had that one back. Probably a little bit frustrated with himself and a little bit frustrated with Matt Durr, but that's racing, and that's racing for a win, especially the position that Matt Durr was put in. You got to sit there and run hard. It doesn't matter if these guys are in the chase or not. You're here to win a race. So you can't really fault Matt Durr for what he did. The biggest frustration coming out of here is going to be Jared Darling watching that 25 truck win, watching the 6 truck finish 3rd, and watching Zach Henry finish 4th. Jared Darling was in between all those guys. He's now going to be way down the list in the points.
That's absolutely going to be a massive hit to his points efforts here. And now you're down to just 4 drivers who have been able to keep it clean all chase long here. We're shaping up for a heck of a battle as we are now 3 races down in the chase. We've got 4 to go here in season 9.
Yeah, even Spencer Owens had a really good showing. I mean, that could put Jared Darling as far down as 5th in points here.
Nathan Jump burning it down here as he well deserves, getting his first win of the chase, but I believe this would be his 4th or 5th win on the season here. We're going to try and get an interview with your top 3 here in just a bit.
believe we've got Jackson Sims in here if you want to go ahead and take that one.
Jackson Sims brings it home in the third position here tonight. A solid points night for him. Jackson Sims, it's Brittle and the boys. I'm in the booth. Got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Heck of a race from you all night long. I don't think we saw you outside of the top 5 at any point in the race other than during the pit cycle. Did you have anything for the 22511 trucks? Obviously, you got Zach through a little bit of a hiccup on his part, but Nathan Jump seemed to be the class of the field. Do you think you had anything for him tonight?
I don't think so. I mean, it's been the moral of the story last couple of weeks. About the best I can do is a little bit less than what Jump can do, so I don't think I would have had anything. I thought a few more laps maybe. It was so hard to pass. Like, just the top was so dominant, and if you got under somebody, it's super tight. So I don't know. That would have been interesting. We had a couple more laps, but I think I did as good as I could do tonight.
Yeah, not to take away from any of your performance, it was an awesome night for you, bringing it home in the third position after starting 7th. Take us through when the only caution of the night fell. What was going through your mind? Did you believe that you really had that you could run them down in a 15-lap shootout?
Well, I knew I had a top 5 if the caution didn't come out, so I was kind of disappointed when it came out, just because with restart crazy, you never know what can happen. But I mean, once I came off 5th and I saw action on 2 tires, and I was in the right lane on that restart. That's all that was. As the top got stacked up, I was on the bottom. Helped a lot, and once we got single filed out, like I said, nobody could really do anything. But it was about how I thought it was going to go.
Yeah, it did look like it was really hard to pass out there. You managed to bring it home with a solid finish here tonight. Looking ahead to next week, we're going back out to the West Coast and back out to a big track in Auto Club Speedway. How you feeling about that one?
It should be pretty good. Haven't run there in a while. I have to get some practice in, but it's a fun track. Multiple grooves. You can kind of draft up to people on the straightaway, so hopefully that'll be good to me.
Well, we'll be watching for you, man. Looking for another good run. You've set yourself up solidly in the points. Can't wait to see where you're at after we get all the math and everything in that done up. But before we let you go, do you have anybody to thank for your awesome run tonight?
Yeah, you guys broadcasting, my teammates Rod and Brent, and everybody watching at home.
Jackson Sims brings it home third tonight. Thank you very much for talking to us, Jackson. We'll see you around.
See you.
All right, we've got Matt Durr in the booth, finished 2nd here tonight. Matt, you got a copy?
Yep, I got you.
Talk us through those last 20 laps. I know we haven't talked to you pretty much. I don't think we've talked to you all season, but give us a rundown of what you could have done to benefit over Jump and how that kind of worked out between you and Zach, and what that looked like to you from inside the cockpit for those 20 laps.
I don't know what I could have done there to stop Jump. He was really fast. I guess probably save my tires a little more, because those last 3-4 laps, I was just getting real tight. So maybe just try to save my tires there. Could have been a lot better.
And then you ended up on that off strategy. Were you concerned about the fact that someone like McConville was able to do 50 laps early on, or did you not think that anyone was really going to try that 3-stop strategy, and you felt like what you guys were doing running a little bit long was probably the best bet? How did tires really play into what you guys were choosing tonight?
Tires were obviously the biggest thing, but someone like Mike, I know he was really good at saving, and I was actually really worried because I didn't know if he was gonna make it or not. Then he got a speeding penalty, I'm pretty sure. But my strategy, I didn't really go long to start off with, but I just kind of figured, well, I'm kind of stuck back in 15th, 16th most of the race, so I might as well try something to go off strategy and try to get to the front. So it just kind of worked out for me.
Well, we haven't seen much of you this season with your injury and everything. We're glad to have you back. Really thought you were able to pull one out there. How do you feel moving forward in these last few races? Obviously, on a little bit of a tear here, and haven't really finished much worse than 11th the last few races. How are we feeling about Auto Club?
Very confident actually. I think I've ran well there before, so I don't really remember what else we raced there, but yeah, I'm feeling very confident these next few races. Definitely feel like I'm getting better.
Well, Matt, always a pleasure having you up here. Always a pleasure seeing you race. Anyone you want to thank for tonight's run?
I'd like to thank most of my team, mainly Shane. He's kind of really helped me throughout my journey in this league. I know I kind of started off like just barely being outside top 10, but working with him uh, really helped me to get that last little bit to get into the top 10. And yeah.
Well, looking forward to seeing what you put on for the rest of the season. Looking forward to seeing how Dark Horse performs. We'll let you have the rest of your evening.
Yeah, thank you. You guys have a good night too.
And last but certainly not least, he was first on pit road almost all night long, and he was first across the line this time. Nathan Jump, it's Brill and the boys up in the booth. Got a copy?
Yeah, I hear y'all.
Well, welcome back to the booth, man. It had been a little bit. I was starting to miss you a little bit. Take us through those last couple laps there when you got that when that caution fell and you saw Matt Durr was in front of you. You knew that your teammate Zach Henry was in front of you, as he had been all night long, just setting that blistering pace that he had. What was going through your mind as you stacked it back up with 15 to go?
Well, I almost let Zach go. I think it was like the corner right before he got into the wall or when he got into the wall, because I knew he could go past everybody on track. I was thinking of just letting him go and just having a good points night. And then he got in the wall, so it was my turn. Then I pulled up.
Well, you certainly took advantage of it, getting in front of him there. And then was it just a matter of just waiting on Matt Durr, or how aggressive were you going to be to go chase that win?
I didn't want to wreck him for sure, but I don't know if he's won in the truck or not, but I know it's probably been a while. So I figured he was probably racing a little bit excited and getting a little tight off the corners, and I didn't want to pass him down low because he couldn't really do that tonight, but I gave it a shot and it barely worked. We almost wrecked the whole field, but it worked out.
It certainly worked out for you, bringing it home first here tonight. I want to get your thoughts on the off strategy that we saw a couple guys playing here. Mike McConville, winner in Indy, once again playing a long strategy here of going pretty much 50, I believe it was 50 laps every run there. Were you worried at all that the strategy was going to flip on you and you weren't going to be able to catch him?
Nope, not worried at all. That Indy race, before that caution came out, I was going to win that race, and his strategy would have gave him top 5, which is good. But I still don't believe in that strategy being a winning strategy. I'm not really too sure how it played out, but on lap 150, I think Zach was at his bumper when he pit his final time. And I'm not sure how it would have worked out, but I think he would have got another top 5, but I think I would have finished ahead of him again.
A very confident Nathan Jump in that one, very sound in his strategy, and it got him the win here tonight. Looking ahead, next week is Auto Club. We're going back out west into a big wide track. How you feeling about that one?
Not my favorite. We get past this one with a top 10. I think I can wrap it up, but I'm mainly after wins. I want wins more than the championship. I don't want to finish second. I don't want to finish third. I don't care where I come in the championship. I just want wins.
Nathan Jump going trophy hunting out here in the Great Lakes Truck Series en route to also a championship here, locked in a dogfight between you, Jackson Sims, and your teammate Zach Henry on that one. Before we let you go, do you have anybody to thank for your awesome run here tonight, man?
The whole 2511 team, I think we put around 1,000 laps of practice in this whole week, all of us, from me, Jordan, Chris, Preston, Zach, everybody. We was locked in, and we almost had a 1-2-3 tonight. Jordan missed out, but that 1-2-3 was close until the end. But yeah, thank those guys, and thank you guys for broadcasting.
Well, it certainly paid off for you, and it looked like it was going to pay off for the entire team. An awesome effort from your entire team all night. Nathan Jump comes home your winner here in Dover. Thanks a lot for talking to us, Jump.
Yes, sir.
And that'll just about conclude our interviews here as we have wrapped up the third race in the GLTS chase for the championship here. There's the standings right in front of you. Nathan Jump holds now a commanding 18-point lead over Zach Henry, and then it's a very tight battle for that second spot with Jackson Sims there, 19 points back from Jump as well. Spencer Owens creeping back up into contention there, still in fourth, 26 points back. Elliot, how are we feeling going into Auto Club next week?
Well, you know it's going to be a really good track for someone like Zach Henry. Jared usually ran pretty well there too, but I really just keep looking at that 23 truck as someone who could sneak in here. And I don't think he's got the pace to go catch Nathan Jump or anything, but he could mess up that second, third, and top 5 spots there because, I mean, I think we had him written out a little bit at the beginning of these playoff at this chase, but remember he finished regular season in second, so consistency is king for that 23 truck, and it's showing right now through the chase.
Absolutely, Spencer Owens still. Like we keep saying, if he would just qualify and start in a better spot, he wouldn't have to fight his way through the entire field to get up to battle with these guys. He'd already be there. You'd like to think with the pace he's got in the race, he could put it down in hot laps, but continues to do it the hard way, and he's still on the still in the fight for this one. He's got a 26-point gap up to Nathan Jump. Like you said, he's going to have to work pretty hard with 4 races remaining in the schedule, but I think anybody in that top 5, they've still got a reasonable shot at it.
Yep, I completely agree. I think Ashton and McConville kind of put themselves out tonight. McConville could have had a really good showing, but Caressel puts himself in a good spot to potentially come out of here with, like I was saying, 5th or 6th in points. So good run for him, and it's duplicated Nick Caressel's name there, unfortunately, but that's Eric Kepf in 10th. Really frustrating night for him. But still a shot for him to gain some points, and anywhere from 6th to 10th is open, and anywhere from 5th all the way up to probably 2nd is open as well. And then I think pretty much anyone in that top 4 has a shot at Jump, depending on how these next few races go. But it is certainly not over quite yet.
Based on how those guys have been running, it is certainly going to be a dogfight all the way to the end here. As we'll take a look at the results one last time through 200 laps here in Dover. Nathan Jump comes home your winner after starting 5th. Matt Durr brings it home 6th after a turnaround night, being mired all the way back in the pack there. A late race caution nets him a second place finish. Very solid night for him. Jackson Sims brings it home 3rd. A great championship effort for him tonight. Zach Henry, man, you got a feel for him. After that caution there, it was all his before it, and then after it was just all over but the crying. A painful 4th place for him. Very bittersweet here in Dover. Nick Caressel, we talked about him starting way back in 17th, a resounding march towards the front. Here he brings home a top 5. Great night for him in his championship efforts. Ashton Lawson brings it home 6th, a solid top 10 for him. Spencer Owens, like we said, if he would just start up front, he would probably finish better than 7th. I believe that is now the 7th or 8th time he's finished 7th this season, so he loves that number 7 spot. Shane Neiswanger brings it home 8th. Another great night from him. I wish he could have finished a little more up towards his starting position in 7th or 2nd there, but still brings it home with a top 10. Ross Brockman, after being on that off strategy all night long, still brings it home in 9th after that. The caution and everything throwing a wrench into it, throwing it all the wayside. He still manages to have the pace to bring it home in 9th. And then Austin Moore in the 91 truck, a resounding return to the Great Lakes Truck Series, brings it home in that 10th spot.
Yeah, finishing 11th, Brent Kingcott was running up front for most of the night. Really good, solid starting spot here too, but unfortunately couldn't keep together and drifted towards the back there throughout the race. Back to 11th, still a solid run. Trent Curtis in 12th. Gavin Fitzgerald with a little bit of a nice turnaround, 13th. Michael Sensi in 14th. Mike McConville finishes 15th after his frustrating run. A nice little bounce back, honestly, from where he was running at one point. Chris Heller, remember, he sped on pit road as well, 16th. Preston Henry in 17th. Jared Darling, after his run-in, a top 5 run pretty much all night, ends him in 18th night. Aiden Dupont in 19th, and Alex Feder right there in 20th.
21st, Eric Kepf, an absolutely lethal blow to his championship efforts. He drops back to 10th in the point standings, dead last after this, finishing 21st tonight, and that off strategy didn't really pay out for him. And then getting involved in more contact later on in the race. Rod Fosnaugh brings it home 22nd. Robin Durr, 23rd. Lewis Woodall, 24th. Adam Zorn, 25th, all having issues there. 3 straight dark horse drivers having not so great nights. Nick Hansen, in his return to the Great Lakes Truck Series, hadn't seen Nick in a while. Great to see him back. Had an unfortunate night with some internet connectivity. He brings it home 26th. Matt Rodriguez, we saw with that early contact getting sent into the inside wall there. He brings it home 27th. TCB, great to have him back. Unfortunate night for him. Comes home 28th. And James Shiflett will round it out in 29th. Looking forward, Great Lakes is recruiting. We are actively looking for guys to participate in our season 10 campaign that will kick off here in a couple weeks. If you would like to join us on track here, click that Discord link right there on your screen, and our admins will get you all set up so we can go racing in the Great Lakes Truck Series 10th season. That'll just about do it for all of us here at Split Second Broadcasting. It's been a great race, great 200 laps here in Dover. The third race of the Great Lakes Truck Series chase for the championship is now complete. We look ahead to Auto Club next week at next Tuesday. Same bat time, same bat channel. I've been Hunter Brittle alongside Elliot Henderson, Jeff Johnson behind the booth. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.